Hey guys, what is up? Ioki here, bringing you some Leona coaching. If you guys don't know who I am, if it's your first time on the channel, my name is Ioki, rank 1 Leona, and consistently Grandmaster player. Today we're going to be looking at a bronze 3 Leona by the player name of Space Bazooka 400N. So we are going to be showing you how to carry as Leona in low elo. Going to be pointing out, going over everything from itemization to build strategies, combos, everything, macro. So before we get into the game, I want to, as always, commend you on your proactivity. It is always, always, always a good thing to get out on the map and get this ward here and stack over here. If you're not going to stack in a bush, you want to set this ward here and stack over here. That way you've got both entrances of the river covered. You're ready for an invade. You're ready if they invade. I can't see them invading because typically Shaco level 1 wants to set up his boxes. It'd probably be pretty difficult for you to fight a level 1 anyways, but I wouldn't worry about it because Shaco's going to be setting up boxes. But before we get into the actual gameplay, I want to go over your runes. I looked it up on OPGG, and you've got some pretty good runes, pretty standard stuff. I would say in the Resolve tree, I would look into taking Bone Plating, and in the Precision tree, I would definitely look into Presence of Mind. I genuinely think that rune is broken. I'm recording this as of patch 10.13. And it is a very, very strong rune that I'm taking on every champion. So you don't want to be taking down Cut Down. That's not really your role in the game. So Legend Tenacity and Presence of Mind. Alright, so we're going to go in for Invade. See if we find anyone. Now, one thing I want to point out is that if you can click their ward fast enough, you can actually look, like when an enemy places down a ward, you can actually click that ward and look up in the top left, and it'll tell you whose ward that is. So, that may not be pivotal information always, but sometimes it is. Like, let's say you're in the river, you see someone put over the ward, and it's Shaco. You know what I mean? So, like, now you know Shaco's on the bot side of the map, you can back up, things like that. Like, it makes a difference whether it's Shaco or Aurelia. So, just a little bit of a hint. Doesn't look like we're going to get any action level 1, which is fine for us. We're taking blue buff, we're walking down. Alright, so, when you play against Thresh, here's what you want to do. I'd say about 75 to 80% of the time they're going to start Flay because that gives them empowered autos. Here's a little bit of a tip. If you click Thresh, he will actually have the Flay passive underneath him. So it's the same thing. Up here in the top left corner, you left click the enemy Thresh, it'll show Flay charging up. It goes red to yellow to green. If he doesn't have that, that means he leveled up Hook. So you can play the lane differently. Because he leveled up Hook. He has no Flay passive. Alright, so in scenarios like this where you get unexpectedly CC'd, you were probably expecting him to have Flay, right? You want to just immediately, I saw you sneak in the auto, but in scenarios like this, most of the time you probably just want to immediately Q and get your Aftershock because you're going to be taking all this damage, and the sooner you get that Aftershock off, the better. But this is totally fine for us because they took a lot of minion aggro, MF had your back, she had presence, it was good. It's honestly not very good for Thresh to start Flay, which is why, for Thresh to start Hook, excuse me. So we're going to be pushing for level 2. You want to be up here hitting these, because especially since Thresh started Hook, he doesn't have empowered autos. That's one of the biggest parts of why you want to start Flay as Thresh, is that you can knock people, melee champions, off of the minions. But since he doesn't, you want to be up here. There you go, hitting them. You know you're hitting level 2 and one more minion. So walk forward. Make sure you know when that last minion died, you're hitting 2. We had a pretty good reaction, but I want you to be on top of it. At level 2, you are stronger than you will ever be in the game. Think of it that way. Leona is the biggest level 2 power spike. Alright. Okay, so you knew what to do. Execution was a little off. Sometimes we miss. It happens. Looks like we're still going to get off a Q here. There we go. Okay. Okay, no. So immediately, drop the Ignite and stay on this. Read the minion wave. You are level 2. You have 4 abilities versus their 2. You have bigger health bars. You have more AD. You have everything that you need. You have level 2, right? And this minion wave is going to be assisting you. Drop the Ignite immediately. Cut down on her healing. Oh, she didn't even have heal. Still, drop the Ignite. Go for the kill, right? Stay in this. You don't want to be walking away from this. Because, look, they have... unless they start attacking these minions, they're never going to level up. You've got the level 2 advantage. Stay on them. Auto attack. Go back in. There you go. They're inting, man. Don't let them int on you like that. There you go, baby. Stun him, walk forward. Okay, we got his flash. Excellent. So no summoners in bot lane. So understand, even though that looked bad at the beginning, if you had just stood on top of her and continued autoing, there's no way they win that fight. There's absolutely no way. Alright, so it looks like we're looking for a roam level 2. Not sure we'll be able to find much of anything. Let's see if we do. Under turret, so we're just going back. Good, you're not wasting time. Good stuff, good stuff. Alright, we're chilling in lane, waiting for MF. We're chilling, we're chilling, we're chilling. We got our boot rush. Good job, good job. Probably could have grabbed Xayah right there, but it's alright. If you want to wait till level 3 to get your W, a little bit of a healthier survivability. Grab, nice try. So we're just lacking a little bit on the execution. This should just be another kill. Awesome, they're inting into you. Okay, so the Thresh Leona matchup is actually quite difficult, as the Flay is a hard counter to your Zenith Blade. However, this Thresh obviously isn't playing it well, and you're probably not going to encounter Threshes that know the matchup and understand that, like, using their Flay opens you up to using your Zenith Blade until you get to, like, gold, maybe even low plat. Like, honestly, people just don't think about, like, matchups and cooldowns and counterplay and stuff like that. They kind of just use all their abilities and then they win the fight or they don't, and they're upset about it. But here's how I want to give you a little bit of a glimpse into what's going to happen, because you are going to improve, and you are eventually going to get gold and plat. I believe in you. So the Flay is a direct counter to your Zenith Blade. So the options for playing against Thresh are getting bush control, making him waste his ward, auto Q, auto that, keeping bush control, going up and down this side of the map, and then eventually he'll get too close to the bush. At one point, you walk out and you have your Q popped. Then he flays it because he doesn't want to get Q'd point blank range. Once he uses his Flay, you E. That's when you E. You have to get him to use his Flay, or else you can pretty much never use your E. Again, we're playing in very low elo, so I don't know if we're going to see that. Oh, okay. I am about to watch you make... We'll come back to the Thresh thing. Let me tell you what you're doing wrong here. You're popping your W in a place where it can hit Xayah. So what's about to happen, if Xayah is smart, is she'll walk forward, she's full health, and she'll intentionally tank your W, and then you'll get turret aggro. You see what I mean? I mean, it's not a common mistake. But I immediately recognized what was about to happen because I've seen it happen before. Yeah. Don't do that. Don't give Xayah a free kill, essentially. There's no real reason for you to pop your W. Think about, so let's use that as a lesson then. Let's really consciously think about when and why we're using our W. Did you really need the extra MR and armor there? Were you actually in any sort of danger? No. So let's not use it. Alright, so we are making a roam. I love this pathing. I try to teach this pathing a lot. It's a really, really great path. They never see the roam coming. Unfortunately, Thresh got there first. He killed, Lee Sin, your jungler. Aurelia is low. So I'm seeing the red in your eyes. I'm seeing you go for the Aurelia. Okay. She has to... Okay. So in scenarios like this, though, she has to basically not be paying attention, right? She has to be a little too focused on the minions for you to get to her, because you don't have flash and you don't have your ultimate to dump to raw ult. So if she's paying attention, we need to call this off, because things like this get really, really sloppy really, really fast. And even though she has, what, 123 HP, we also know Thresh is in the area, and we don't know where Shaco is. So if this is not just a cut and dry kill, we need to let it go. And it looks like it's not. So we need to let this go. You're not going to catch her. You do have boots on her. Yeah, it's just too risky. It's just too risky. We know Thresh is in the area. You got to be thinking about the worst case scenario, right? You got to be thinking about the worst case scenario. Worst case scenario is Thresh pivoted back, is over here, is going to lantern her out, hook you, kill you. Or Shaco was on the top side of his jungler. We haven't seen him recently. So let's see how this plays out. But think about the worst case scenario when you're making these decisions. If you don't have flash or an ability to just get her when she's right here, probably shouldn't go for these plays. It's the worst case scenario. If you condition yourself to be thinking about what is the absolute worst case scenario if I follow this level 6 Aurelia as a level 3 Leona into an unwarded bush, what's going to happen? She's got Conquer. If she lands like 2 autos on you, she's going to out-heal your damage. It's just... So, condition yourself. Condition yourself. It looks like a free kill, right? But what is the worst case scenario? And if you condition yourself to think about what is the worst case scenario if I walk into this bush, it'll seriously change the entire way you play this game. Alright, unfortunately, MF died while we were roaming. So we kind of doubled down on like how bad of a roam that was. Not only did we get the enemy mid laner fed, we got Shaco fed, and our ADC died. Now I didn't see what happened bot lane, but I will say it can be a little bit difficult to leave an immobile ADC in lane alone against Thresh. Because he can engage through the minions, right? He can just flay through them. Alright, we chillin', we chillin', we chillin'. Alright, hook is down. Hook is down, but you gotta be thinking about why is he going for hook there? Read the body language of your enemy team. He's been fine standing behind his minion wave for the last 40 seconds, and all of a sudden he's walking up. You see, look how far back he's playing. Look how far back he's playing, and then all of a sudden, now he wants to fight. So think about that. Think about why he's doing that. Start reading the Start trying to read the body language of your opponents, and it'll be pretty obvious when a lot of ganks are happening. And then once you get to the really high levels of play, people will start changing their body language, going aggressive out of nowhere to fake ganks, right? But we're not there yet, right? We're playing in bronze. If someone is playing super passive and then all of a sudden shifts and wants to fight inside your minion wave, they've got a gank coming. Alright. Not a very good flash. We want to be using flash to actually dodge skill shots. You still had a full health bar, and this guy has no mana, and she just used all her cooldowns. So no real reason to use her flash, and if you had held onto the flash, we could be flash queuing this Thresh and killing him. But it looks like we're gonna get him anyways. But yeah, you want to use your flash. Don't just use your flash to clear distance, because when you think about it, that's not really that much distance, right? It doesn't put that much distance between you and a player. You want to be using it to like dodge a hook, or have a cheeky engage, things like that. You don't want to just put it as like, I am now 1 foot further away from you. Alright, we got our Mobies. That's good, that's good. Got a fight going on in the dragon. That's bad, that's bad. Alright, we are not contesting this dragon, right? Because we know there's 3 people on it. We see Thresh mid, so we want to push. Want to push one more wave. Thresh is still wasting his time mid. Want to push one more wave. If you were 6, you could probably look to dive the Xayah. And we are 6 now. So, she has no mana. She has no mana, and we saw her use her ultimate. So it's time to dive this. This is a very, very good dive. You guys both have mana. You guys both have, you have Ignite. You both have ultimates. This is an easy dive. Eonter, look at her mana bar. What is she going to do with that mana bar? Yo, this is the easiest. All right, sorry. Let's work on recognizing when you should be diving. Because post level 6, you have a really great dive, especially if you have an aggressive ADC like MF, and you don't have like an Ezreal or something. So that was 100% given to you on a platter. Even if, worst case scenario, Shaco's right here, you still kill the Xayah so fast that you could probably just turn on the Shaco as well, or walk away. But now it's getting a little more risky because now we've lost vision of Thresh. He's probably bought his tier 2 boots, and he's coming down the lane. Let's cheat a little bit and see where Thresh is. But because we assume he's coming down the lane now, so now it's not that good of a dive. Okay, so yeah, he's coming down. But if you had read the map a little bit better and saw that Thresh was mid for that whole time, you had like a whole 30-second window to dive. I want to say too, mid is not like there's some lanes for like that one death that you gave to her. If she had ended up being like 5-0 by now, and Diana was super far behind, it would be unroamable, right? But I want to say mid is not unroamable in this game. You guys have pretty good wombo, so I want it like when you've got the lane in a way like this that you can't really contribute anything without diving. Like it's in their third of the lane, right? It's in their area. You can't dive. You're not a range champion, so you can't hit the turret. You should be looking for roams in areas in scenarios like this. And Aurelia is definitely still roamable on, so be looking for opportunities like that. All right, let me watch that again. Let me see if that was any good. Okay, missed his hook. Okay, so he didn't flay you out of his Zenith Blade. I'm telling you, once you get to any sort of respectable elo, that is what's going to happen every single time you try to Zenith Blade. So I want you to have the tools and understand what to do in those scenarios, because even if he Zenith Blades, or even if he Thresh flays you out of your Zenith Blade, you can cancel your E into your R, and even though he still flays you, the stun will land. So what I mean by that is you press E and you kind of just slide your finger across the R. So you can cast your R at any point during your E animation. So you can throw your E, and as you're flying towards them on the Zenith Blade, the ult comes down and it stuns them. So he'll still get his flay off, but he didn't flay at all. So this was still a good combo. We don't quite have the firepower yet. But yeah, I just want you to have the tools to know how to play around that. Because the Thresh-Leona matchup is very, very difficult for Leona. He's just got like a more advanced kit than you do. Okay, so this was kind of just like a wasted ward. I feel like this is just a ward that you put down because like you feel like you know that you're supposed to be warding. You've already got vision of this, so if anyone clears this or steps over it, you already know that like you already know where they're going. You know? This is like just kind of just redundant vision. It'd be like having a ward here and also a ward like here. You know? Gotta be careful with those W's, man. Be careful with those W's. Okay. So just pushing, we see Thresh mid, so we have another opportunity to dive. It's a little riskier this time because we don't know where Shaco is. Honestly, at this stage of the game, when I'm starting to fall behind like this as Leona, I start going for riskier plays. Because you don't want to let the game just progress how it is, and you get outscaled. You know what I mean? Because Leona, her kit, her numbers, her identity, her role is so much more important and bigger in the early game than it is in the mid and late game. Like Thresh is so much better, well equipped for like hard team fights and 5v5s and playing around objectives and stuff. Like you're all about finding engages in the early game, laning phase, and mid game. So even though this is not ideal, okay, and make sure we're comboing correctly. You don't want to leave a space between your Q and your R. Q R, and if you had done that, she wouldn't have gotten her ulti off. So we would have a kill, we would have a turret. MF would still have her heal. Make sure you're not leaving any space. That's what Leona's combos. She has several combos and animation cancels that allow there to be no space in between there. And the QR is not even an animation cancel. It's just Q, dump the R as immediately. So you're leaving spaces. You're giving them opportunities to outplay. Because you know that Xayah is just mashing on her R key. She's not doing anything special, right? Just Q, R. Alright, got ourselves a dragon. Okay, we know he's going for the lantern. He's going to lantern her out, so start cutting this Thresh off. Walk around this way. You know he's lanterning her. You know he's lanterning her. You know exactly what he's going to do. So walk around this way and cut them off. I respect the attempted E flash. It's good that you know that. I can't even believe that didn't hit. But yeah. So start you know, giving yourself the proactivity and learning. A large part of League of Legends is learning what's going to happen before it happens. Reading ganks before they happen. Understanding, you know, a jungler's pathing. Or if I Zenith played this Thresh, what is he going to do? He's going to flame me. If Aurelia is running this way and is getting chased by 4 people, and Thresh is running this way, what is he going to do? He's going to lantern him. So just have a little bit of like forward thinking and understanding of kits and how they work together. All right, we're about to get collapsed on. It looks like. Okay, no, you're good. You're good. Oh man, we canceled our MF ult. Doesn't matter, still got her. All right, here we go. Alright, so this is the type of stuff that I said that, like, Thresh is way better equipped with. Because, like, right? He has the ability to peel and engage and reposition an ability or reposition an ally, and you pretty much just go in, right? So unless you see a good opportunity to go in, this is the stage of the game that, like, it's really difficult to play Leona against, like, a well-equipped champion like a Thresh. Let me watch that again. Let's see what we did. Did we end here? Alright, so just like I said, Thresh can peel, engage, box, lantern, all this different stuff. You can only do one thing. If you go in and your team doesn't win that fight, you're also dying with them. You can't go in, let me think of how I'm trying to phrase this. If this isn't a team if this isn't a fight your team's winning, you can't go in. Because you're kind of just doubling down on it, right? Diana got caught. She shouldn't have been caught. But by you going in, you can only CC one person. You can't CC all 3 of those guys, right? So there's just no real way to save Diana there, unfortunately. So don't try not to double down. I know it's difficult as a champion that only goes in, but try to read the fight. And if think about it, if does 2 seconds of CC, does that change that fight? No? Okay, then you're not going in on that fight. Because that's what you're presenting, right? That's what you bring to the table. You bring 2 to 3 seconds of CC. And a little bit of damage. But honestly, your damage comes through your passive, and if they aren't hitting them back, your passive isn't doing damage. If your team's not actually popping your sunlight, then your kit itself doesn't do that much damage. Alright, so a little bit of a wasted ult there. They were both definitely going to be dead. And even if they weren't dead before you ulted, you shouldn't have ulted there. You should be saving your ult for Aurelia right here. Alright, Shaco just used Rift Herald. Okay, we saw this, right? We're going to go clear that. Nope, we did not see that. We're not going to go clear that. So when you're using your red trinket, your sweeper, you can see silhouettes of wards or Shaco traps or people. You can see lots of it. You can see lots of stuff. Okay, so Diana's dead right before the dragon fight. Let's see how we play this. This could get messy pretty fast. I want to see your auto queue autos a little bit faster too. You can what I think you're doing is you're pressing mouse click Q and then letting Leona do that third auto attack on her own, if you re-input that input, if you re-enter that input, like actually click a second time for your second auto attack, it'll come out faster. Instead of auto Q auto, it'll be auto Q auto, and you'll never miss another word like that. So make sure you're actually clicking for the second auto attack. All right, we got the dragon. And once again, we're giving them an opportunity to get out because we're not using our combos correctly. So let's see what you do here that lets her get out. Because you've got her caught, right? You've got her caught, but we didn't use our Q. Alright. You're there just in case. We kind of just get decimated. It's not really anything to coach there. The game's getting a little bit Fiesta-ish. But we'll see what we can still point out for you to work on. Usually in this stage of like low elo games, it just becomes like complete nonsense with people walking into each other and like fighting in like completely random places macro wise. But we'll find some stuff that you can change, because you can't change. You're not gonna fix all of Braun's solo queue, right? We're just looking to get you out of it. You can't change what all these other 9 players are doing. Alright, we see Shaco and Cho'Gath top, which means that at worst, this is a 3v3 and they're split. So this is an area where you should be up here. MF should be back here, and you should be up here leading the charge against this Xayah or this Aurelia. You being in the back of the pack like this shows a fundamental like lack of understanding of your role in the game right now. Like, you should be looking for picks. If you know they're on their two of their biggest damage dealers are topside, that's when you should be looking for picks. And you should definitely not let her be looking for picks. MF doesn't have the tools to look for picks. The only thing MF is going to do is get caught here. And it's a million times better if you get hooked than if MF gets hooked. Because MF can back you up, right? She can have presence. So I'm seeing you in the back of the pack way too much. There you go. See? You need to be the one making these picks, not the one following up. I want to see you do way less following up and more making the pick. We have no waves, so we're not going to be able to push this. Okay, at least you realized after you ulted it that it was the clone and you immediately stopped hitting it. That was good. Alright, so builds are pretty easy right now in Leona. Gargoyle Stoneplate, which you rushed. And then you can either go Zeke's or Knight's Vow. I would probably have gone... Looks like you're building Zeke's. Zeke's is totally fine. I probably would have gone Knight's Vow just to give MF a little bit of extra survivability. But they're pretty interchangeable, and to be honest, neither of them are super great items right now, so they don't make a huge impact. It's all about this item. You want to go Gargoyle Stoneplate, and then build to your heart's content. Alright, once again, we're missing our ultimate. So I think the biggest fundamental thing you're doing wrong is your combos. You need to go into Practice Tool and genuinely practice your combos. And understand, if you leave any space between, make sure you have there's some option that you can actually see above their head that it says things like stunned. And I'm not sure what that option is, because I think it's on by default. But make sure you have that on. And then go into Practice Tool and make sure it's always saying stunned over their head. Don't leave any sort of gap, because if you leave any sort of gap between your EQ, between your QR, they're going to flash out, or dash out, or move out, or use an ability that screws the rest of your combo up. Like, you're putting way too many gaps in between your combos. So I really recommend that you go into Practice Tool and make sure you get those down pat. Because before you can move into advanced things, like I said, using your E auto cancel into an R to get around things like Thresh Flay, you need to learn how to do the basic combos. You need to learn how to, you got to learn to walk before you can run. But this is yeah, probably just going to devolve into nonsense here pretty soon. Looks like we're going to go for Baron. Sorry if you can hear my dogs. They're excited. They're just so excited for you to learn how to play Leona, man. They love coaching. Okay. Now, this is one of the very, very rare scenarios where I would say it's okay for a low elo player to do a raw alt, because you want to have impact on this fight as fast as possible. You kind of misread where the fight was going, so you were like walking back and forth a little bit, so you're late to the fight, right? And in fights like this, it's going to be very close. It's essentially going to come down to who gets the first kill, and then that team's probably going to steamroll. So you want to get impact out there as fast as possible. So don't build a habit of raw alting like that. But I'm gonna come out and say this is one of the very hey, the fight's not over. The fight's not over. Fight's not over. What are we doing? Okay, so we kind of just like left the fight for no reason. Yeah. Don't do that. Don't do that. And also definitely don't build a habit of raw alting. It's bad as a low elo player 99% of the time. Alright, we got Zeke's. We're looking for a pick here. Not quite finding it. Get in there. Get a couple stun off. Alright, so you guys are going to steamroll and probably run it down here, right? We're chasing this. I feel like the circus music should be playing. Alright, we get Baron. We run him down. And that is going to be the game. So as the game ends out, I want to tell you a couple things you need to be working on. Don't W under turret unless you have to. Really be consciously thinking about why you're using that W, and really apply that to all abilities. Why are you using any ability? And if you reach that level of like conscious thinking, I think you'll become a much better player. Always be thinking about that. What is the worst, absolute worst thing that could happen if I overchase a level 6 Aurelia, and apply that to every scenario? And most importantly for you, Space Bazooka, I really want you to work on your combos. Really, really work on your combos. And come to stream and ask me about them. And honestly, if you come to stream, I'll go into practice tool and walk you through them. Because you definitely need to have that as a baseline level for your Leona play. You have to be able to use every single Leona combo and not give them any opportunity to outplay you. Because Leona's a very outplayable champion, right? She's got a very simple kit. So you need to use that simple kit to the most of its ability. But, buddy, I hope this helped. If you have any questions at all, reach out to me on Discord, Twitter, Twitch, OnlyFans, whatever you want, buddy, all right? So take it easy, guys, if you were watching this on YouTube. If you have any questions, put them down in the comments. Take it easy, guys. Peace.